Of when we're live is something I can't quite figure out, but we'll get there. This is how the videos show up. I love the haircut, Jane.
Yeah, I just sort of got it's so hot at the moment.
Oh, well, I love that. My hands are freezing. This is one of the sweet joys of our global network. It's so good of you to join me here. Oh, look at that. We are indeed live, and so are other people too. Thank you so
Hi,
much for
everyone.
joining. One of the great joys to me of Project Kin, the way it's worked out, and nobody ever told me that California was so well suited to the rest of the globe, but that we have this reach both to Europe and to the Pacific Rim to be able to find people at just little pockets of time if people are willing to stay up late or get up early to join us. And I deeply appreciate that. So I use these sessions to kind of preview what's in the week ahead. And this week, I have no special events, which is kind of a rare thing for me now. And I'm going to use these this week in particular to really think a little bit about the big picture, which immediately had me thinking of you, Jane, to talk a little bit about your remarkable series, Forget Me Not, How We Memorialize. Because we've now 4 episodes into this incredible six
Hmm.
episode series. And I wonder if you could share a little bit about where we are so far and what you see coming in the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Bob. I'm just turning off my mail because it's dinging in the background, which annoys me slightly. Um, you say remarkable series. Well, it's incredibly generous of you, but I really did it as a way to explore because I didn't know whether my ideas, and particularly, I guess the one idea that just kick-started this whole thing was the notion of my mum not getting a an obituary and me thinking, I wonder if I can turn the material that we used for her eulogy during her funeral into a story that could be shared more widely. So then, as you know, I got really into, I still am. I'm writing a book at the moment on family stories, and I'm trying to work out adapting little notebooks, that are really easy for a first time notebook maker to create. And so I created using Canva, which is a wonderful tool, but you've got to be confident enough to use it. You've got to probably get a little subscription if you're going to get some of the better tools. So that was the real kind of starting point for this. Can these stories that would otherwise disappear, except to maybe very, very intimate members of the family, could they be captured and shared? And from that, I thought, well, what if instead of deciding that was something that could be a project, why don't I feel my way along there? And you encouraged me. We talked about this a lot in the early days, and you said yes, this could be. So you gave it the possibility. And also what I love is that your ability to put videos together and all of that sort of the back office stuff, which I have always found just takes up a lot of very important time, which it does, as you know. I just thought, what if we did this together, and it could be taking baby steps together. So I kind of like this approach to projects when I'm not either I can't see exactly where the gold is going to come from, or I just want to kind of get lateral about things, get really broad. And what's so delightful about the series is that we started off with Professor Coonfield, who looked at the idea of random memorials that pop up that we all see in our lives. And I thought that was a beautiful beginning because it was like little memorials that are just snippets of things, and you don't know where they're going to go either. But obviously, those people were very much loved. And that's the thing I think we're trying to capture here. It's capturing those moments of love that we have for people and making sure that they are not lost. And I think we do that for ourselves, but we do it for everybody else because all humans go through these, we go through tragedy, we go through grief, go through loss. Some people go through much harder things, when people are killed accidentally or, um, Lord forbid in crimes, that sort of thing. So I just think this is a way that it's not even about keeping control, it's about practicing the art of remembrance.
That's so, so beautiful. First, I'm so touched. I remember you're talking about orders of service, and I was trying to figure out what that meant. And in fact, I did not know until just now that one of the things that you regretted was not having an obituary, the formality of an obituary for your own mom. As you know, I also lost my mom in 2022. It was the pandemic, everything was upside down and how we go about it. And I was the one, present. And we struggled to put it all together. And I felt that the distribution of the way we have newspapers today, it seemed insane to me to formalize things into an obituary. And yet, I too, I think in some ways what I'm doing with Project Kin, which all happened after that, is in part inspired by that idea of there was so much more there and it was so complicated. And how do we get to that kind of a story? I love the expression get lateral. I even started
Mm.
the beginning of this by saying, "Oh, good, I have a whole week to be thinking the big picture." But get lateral is a wonderful way to think about it because it breaks apart. Big thinking is just a cliche, and breaking apart the borders that separate functions is a beautiful way to think about it, because it reminds us that all of the different kinds of ways in which we get these stories. And I can't wait to hear about your little notebooks because there was one of the most memorable moments I'm still building on. From this last week here in our little Substack world has been a post by Victoria Olson, who often has written about her father, who was a well known artist, and going through the experience of all of that. Don't miss her. I'll include the link to her Substack in all of this. But in this last week, she posted a fabulous story about letter writing. And letter writing, she asked her friends on a milestone birthday to send her letters, and
Mm,
there is just so much so lovely in that idea. It has had me really thinking deeply
mm,
about that way in which we tap into that human. What was it you just said? That human need to share that love, that human need to express that connection, and the ways in which we do that with our tentacles of friendships and partners and so on. That is part of, as one of our other colleagues was putting it, how do I be a good ancestor? How do I capture these for my future descendants and the stories that they tell? So tell us a little bit about the series as it continues.
well, so we have, last week we had the wonderful Rhonda Lauritsen, who is, what I think she's most masterful at. She's masterful at very many things, but I love the way that she teaches her storytelling um, tools, I suppose, because I think the hardest thing, in my work, I get to see a lot of, I do this work sort of secretly, so I don't normally talk about it. I don't talk about the subject of it, but I help people create their story. So they'll give me what they've written or something like that, and I help them kind of craft things. And it's really interesting because Rhonda manages to sort of explain, what is needed in those components. And I often find that it's not good enough to just listen to lessons like that. So, how a lot of us want to do online courses. I'm a huge, I love doing online courses. I'm always after new ways to do things. But then you have to see what the finished product is. And what I love about Rhonda's work is you can read one of her books and that gives you or see one of her videos, and that gives you the understanding for why she says things in her courses. And I really think that's a wonderful tip. So if you're learning from someone, don't just see what they're giving you in terms of this is how you do it. Make sure you see how they finish the process as well. So I loved that about Rhonda's session, and she's just such a lovely, bubbly personality too. That always is, adds a bit of joy to the day. So the next two are, I'm so lucky. I just can't believe how lucky I am, and this is because you pushed me to get it, to get the scheduling done. But we have James Hagerty, better known as Bob, who was the Wall Street Journal's chief obituary writers. And I'm just trying to see if I've got, oh, yeah, I do. I've got Bob's book here. Um, I always do this. I always make my books very frilly because I annotate things in them. All my books have frills on them. And Bob, I'm having a pre chat to him tomorrow, which I'm hugely looking forward to. We've already been chatting a lot on email. He also worked in Hong Kong.
Oh,
So I'm really happy to, yeah, I'm really happy to be sort of reminiscing as well as listening to his craft of obituary writing. And my favorite bits from his book are when he talks about the stories that the obituary he wrote for his father and also his mother, who was a real character. And I think there's elements where we can relate to this, but also, the beauty and interest of how he's gathered his own family stories. And he was generous enough to say yes. So, if someone says yes, I always think grab it and run with it. And our final speaker in March, well, the final speaker in this, shall we say, stage of the process is Elsa Piper, who is oh, I think I've got Elsa's book as well. I'm really excited to be bringing Elsa to you because she is someone who is known to me. And she is also the person behind many beautiful celebrations of life. She's a very meditative person now. She's written this book, which is about her own story. um, she's written books about going on the Compostela, doing journeys and pilgrimages. She's very big into pilgrimages. But I thought that the final episode of the current series could be about um, meditative ways and actually creating stories out of those sort of less obvious memoir processes, but also very much on the subject of memorializing. Um, and I think family history crosses over so many. It's memoir, it's autobiography, it's biography. So let's just kind of celebrate that all and bring it together as opposed to putting it all into silos. Um, so I just think we're all storytellers. And yeah, for me, I just think, let's just do away with all the sort of the barriers and the blinds that separate us and just all talk about it together and take what we need at different points of our storytelling lives, I guess. So yeah, I'm super excited about the remaining two episodes. And then there'll be a lovely little picnic basket of 6 people that we can delve into whenever we want to listen to all the fabulous input into this series. And of course, Bob, we're going to be doing some kind of a wrap up together, and who knows what we'll do after that, because I love turning content, I love making sure that it gets the widest possible coverage.
mhm,
All those
mhm.
transcripts, all those stories, they shouldn't just be left in that one place. We have to kind of
Exactly.
find out ways to share them more widely.
Exactly. And that's, at the core of what this is all about. Every one of our live programs is recorded and available online. And as you know, is seen by many, many more times than the people who are actually able to see it live. I am delighted by so many of you joining in the live session. I need to adhere to a promise I made to Jane, though. Jane has to dash. I talked her into this Sunday in the middle of her Monday morning, and all of you in the Pacific Rim, I appreciate that. And you can dash when you need to dash, Jane. But I wanted to pick up a few chit chats that have come here, particularly offhand. I've seen your comment, Mary, about obituaries, but I want to come back to that one. Did you need to go to Mary Jane?
I do, but can I just hear the comment because I didn't see Mary's comment, and then I'll run.
Okay. I don't have the interface here. Excuse me if I jiggle the phone here because you are my phone. But Mary asked, in reference, I think, to the comment that I made about not having done an obituary for my mother. She says, "Was an obituary not a normal part of your understanding of a funerals program, or
Mm.
did I misunderstand what you said?" Great question, Mary. Um, no, I do know that a normal, a common, frequently used part of a funeral program is things like orders of service, the funeral service itself, the eulogy, obituaries, and so on. Um, this occurred during the pandemic when everything was upside down. I chose to have my mother uh, cremated. And my brother and sister were in the East Coast and in Europe, so we weren't all here together as a family. So in our case, we chose to do an online service. And my sister, who is an artist, and her husband, who is a filmmaker, collaborated on historical things about her life and told a story in a very, very good film that we, of course, have kept private to the family. We showed the film and had an ongoing discussion for everybody attending, really retelling live their stories about my mother, which was absolutely lovely. I I wish I could say I knew what we were doing going into it. I honestly did not. I was devastated. And it was, one of those moments that it took a lot to try to hold it together and pull things together. I think set me in many ways into a journey of storytelling for which I am very grateful, and very grateful to my mother for setting me on this. And knowing her, I think she would find it delightful and entirely suitable. So that's my story.
Oh, thank you, Bob, and thank you, Mary, for the input, and thank you to you all. I am going to rush. I have a. This is going to sound terrible. So I'm going to a Pilates class, and then I am teaching a group class to some friends of mine, which I'm super excited about. So I am going to hit the road and send you lots of love and blessings for Sunday in the US and Monday in Australia, and look forward to speaking with you all soon, especially you, Bob.
Thank you. Take care
Bye.
now. Ciao. I think you just there we go. Okay. So we can go on just a little bit longer. I don't want to overstate my stay because this is uh yeah, there are so many great ideas that I think bubbled up. Sometimes these ideas happen because you're looking for them. And I gave the example of Victoria Olson and the letters that came from there. I'm seeing now these wonderful ideas popping up everywhere, and I will welcome thoughts and ideas for projects. It feels like years ago, at the beginning of Project Kin, probably 14, 13 months ago, I started a database of crazy project ideas that is somewhere on the site. I think I'm going to bubble that one up. I'm also going to include the two, actually, probably all of the book links mentioned here on the Jane's series, Forget Me Not, so that you can read up on who these speakers are that are coming for her program. Were there any other specific questions? Ah. Go ahead and drop them in again. I know it's hard to type. And yes, go ahead. Oh, yes. Linda, did you have a specific question you want me to address here now? And now there goes the typing, and it's all very awkward. We're figuring this out. When I did last month's Mission Genealogy, which is the little collaboration Robin Stewart and I have as the welcome wagon to family historians on Substack. We talked about actually how incredibly easy it is to do these live sessions, and you too can do a live session, hit a button, and everybody who is your subscriber would hear from you. It's kind of cool, and it is very, very easy to do. Oh, thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. I think these are all just features that Substack is working on to continue to expand on. Um, I'm delighted to see them continue to. Oh, thank you, Mary. I'm delighted to see them continue to expand on these features. I was about to hit send when I had other things to run off to today on an innovation they just added to the way comments are made to posts, which I thought was worth noticing. And we will continue to grow on these for this balance of this week, which I don't have any programs for. I'm looking forward to settling up on my plans for Roots Tech. I am not going to Roots Tech, but my good friend Robin Stewart is with GenStack. You'll know Robin for her GenStack series, and if you don't, go to mission or genealogymatters.substack.com and you will find your way to GenStack. And she is going to be on site at Roots Tech. And we will have some ways to collaborate with some fun programs to make that for all the rest of us sitting at home in our bunny slippers watching it. So I'm going to end this nice and short as I've promised each Sunday, and let's see where you add more thoughts into the comments here. I always appreciate them, and as you think about putting that into your calendar, think about how what it is that will help you get the most out of the program, and let's put our head together about ways we can help each other. All right, so with that, let me put an end to this program today, and I will see you next week again at the same bat time, same bat channel, barb channel, I don't know. We'll make it work. Till then, bye now.